Hello and welcome everyone, it is me, the Lover, also known as the Power to Duelist, back for you with another deck profile. As you guys know, I do like to swap things up a bit when I am, grinding that account back up at the start of the new season. Was playing a bit of Snake Eye, but then the jank was calling me again, and I ended up playing this mess all the way to Diamond 5. I'll try and quickly highlight a couple key cards and interactions, because I do have like quite a bunch of replays that I would want to get to with this deck. Because it's a lot easier to conceptualize what this deck does when you actually see it. But this is Diabellstar Bystial. Been tinkering around with like a Bystial Synchro deck for a bit, and this, I guess, is the next step. Mainly, let's just get into it. For like engine pieces, we have one Jet Synchron for the original Sympho Spoil, we have 3 Ecclesia and a Golden Sword Soul for, level 4 tuners, and the nice ability that Incredible Ecclesia can just tribute herself for the Golden Sword Soul and get a Light or Dark into the grave. Incredible Ecclesia also very nice that she's a special summonable level 4 tuner if you are playing into a board. Does make the access to the level 10 Synchro pool a lot easier. Golden Sword Soul actually has like a very relevant effect. If a card's banished, you can banish this from your grave to special a spellcaster with equal attack and defense from your hand and or grave, which can either be the Incredible Ecclesia or the Effect Veilers that this deck is main decking. Bystial Diabellstar here is a searchable, just like level 4 tuner, off of Lubellion mainly. For the Bystials, the limited boys, Magnuma to search some dragons, Serenir to, dump Bystials and branded spell traps. Druid Swarm to send opponents' monsters to the grave, and then we're playing, the maximum amount of ball drakes that we can play. This guy has like a fairly cute interaction with Diabellstar, because Diabellstar resummons herself if she's sent to the graveyard on the opponent's turn. So you can technically tribute a Diabellstar off of a ball drake, resummon her, get the value in again, which is kind of cute. And then just 3 Lubellion, a branded regained, and a branded beast, capping this off. Lubellion, of course, searching you those Bystials and getting you to either regained or beast. Regained, by the way, a card I have been wanting to talk about for such a long time. This card's incredible. Holy shit, insane card. If a Light or Dark's banished, you can target one of those monsters, place that monster on the bottom of the deck, draw a card, and if your opponent puts a monster on the board, you can summon a Bystial back from your graveyard. In combination with a card like Magnamut that adds you a card in end phase, you can very easily just like go +2 in card advantage each turn, which makes this deck very grindy and also very capable once you kind of get into that loop of, summoning back a Bystial, drawing a card. Because this, of course also triggers if your opponent banishes Lights and Darks, but mainly you will be, triggering that with your Bystials and some of the other cards in this deck. Incredible cards, absolutely love it. Probably like the main reason why I've like kind of fallen in love with the Bystial engine. Very, very sick. For, everyone's favorite magical treasure hunter, we are of course maxing out on Diabellstar, the Black Witch. Easy special summon by just sending a card from hand or field to grave. She then will set a Sympho Spoil spell trap from your deck, and, can, if she is sent to the graveyard in your opponent's turn, resummon herself by once again sending a card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Another great advantage engine, I think. What my main issue with this is, and why this probably looks like a bit more janky, is that there's like no direct connection besides, between, the Bystial engine and the Diabell engine, besides like its good stuff advantage engines that, just so happen to share like an advantageous attribute for the Bystials. But it's cool, it works, and I like it. Playing 3 wanted, of course, to grab Diabell, absolutely maxing out on this, because, you really want to see Diabell, because you have, like, no other ways to get to her outside of, hard drawing her, and, for the targets as mentioned, one Snake Eye for the Jet Synchron, and a Silvera. Very cool card. This is an Omni Negate, basically, a permanent Omni Negate, by sending a Diabellstar monster from your hand or face-up field graveyard. And if this is in your grave while your opponent activates a effect or card in response to your Diabellstar effect, you can banish it and negate that opponent's effect. This came up once, was very clutch. Reading, because I didn't notice that. For the extra, I'm on a Dawn Dragster and a Shooting Riser for some 7s to make with the Jet Synchron and the Bystials. On Omega and Draco Berserker for some 8s to make with the Diabell and the Jet Synchron. Wanted to have like more immediate access 8s. You could probably play a Savage and this would be also very much fine. For the 10s, playing almost all of them. A Baron, a Chengying, and a Bystial Diabellstar, all incredible cards in this deck if you want like an Omni, some more Banishing, or a big Chungus. And Bystial Diabellstar is just a great extender and also a good endboard piece. You could probably shave something, maybe the Underworld Goddess or like one of the 7s. Possibly also Omega for like a Chaos Angel. Hasn't come up yet, but maybe one day I'll miss it, so we'll see when that happens. One at Tom, just to get more dragons on the board. The Bystials just really easily make this guy, and getting access to like a Magnemud or something if you drew like a Druid Saronir or something is just very nice. A Linkuriboh to get Jet Synchron off the board. There were more situations in which I missed the Linkuriboh than I didn't. So I started running it. A Striker Dragon and an Artemis to potentially convert like a Bystial Aluba or an Effect Veiler into a, you know, Light or Dark in the graveyard. A Striker Dragon's mainly like a leftover from when I was still playing Chamber Dragonmaid and Dragonmaid Tidying in this deck, which you will probably see in one of the replays. That's why I'm, you know, cutting this a bit short. Which is also like a neat thing to do with this deck. Same story with Heretic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. This is still a great endboard piece to make in this. Just turning 2 Bystials into this is just like good value, because it's a good piece of interaction. Also gets you just like another guy out the deck. Then, you know, just some utility stuff for Nightmare Phoenix, a Liner. This is mainly here so you have something to make with the Artemis that isn't Nightmare Phoenix. Did come up once or twice. I did steal a Nibiru once for game, which was funny. And then, you know, the greatest Link monster ever printed in Underworld Goddess. But with no further ado, I do have like 3 replays that I hopefully can get to in this video, kind of showcasing the capabilities of the deck and why I love it so much. So let's get into those. And here we are, loaded up into a game against Gishki Sprite. Opening hand's looking very promising. This, of course, you know, mainly just the Bystial portion here. For the moment, opponent is revealing a Sprite Carrot, a Gishki Grimness, and a Gishki Abyss off of a Pot of Prosperity. I decided to like hit the Grimness because I was like, okay, yeah, this card's kind of I'm not letting that resolve summon it, you know, letting him summon Abyss from the deck. He does have, you know, Sprite Extender here, Ghost Starter for blue. Blue adds a Sprite monster. And with 2 level 2s on the board, I think everyone knows where this is going. This is a Gigantic Sprite about to hit the field. And Gigantic Sprite pretty much just gets him to Gishki Abyss anyways, which is a crazy card. On summon adds Gishki monster. Also, not a once per turn, which is, you know, cards from 2010 or something. I should know. I should know a thing or two about that. Elf resummons Abyss here. Abyss adds a Vision. And then we just go pitch Vision for Ritual Monster. And I believe we already have a Spell and Grip. We don't, but we can, you know, just grab another Neuromanus, I guess. Sets a card, passes. But that Neuromanus will still hit the board. Very powerful monster negate that is off of the Aquamirror Illusion. Main phase 1, we get to special summon Incredible Ecclesia here, which is met with a Sprite Elf. I decided I don't want to deal with a red on board, so I hope by the Grave the red here as soon as, you know, Elf tries to resummon it. And just kind of, you know, mash a couple buttons here, forming this massive chain. I think you can, you know, just like, not just click every button, but I decided to do that anyways. Putting Golden Swordsoul on the board here, denying my opponent the access to Sprite Red here. And turning 2 monsters into a Bystial Diabellstar. Since we both have banished cards by now, this is a very good card to make here. When the Neuromanus tries to resolve, I do try to Diabellstar, shuffle back the red to negate that, but get hit with an Effect Veiler, which is rather unfortunate. But yeah, I can still play, which is, you know, the nice part, the important part. So we're kind of chilling. Sadly, don't get the resummon effect off of the Diabellstar here. But I still have a Magnemud in Grip, which is able to probably grab me a lot of value going into combat here, clearing Sprite, Elf, and Gigantic respectively. 2 cards you really don't want to be leaving on a turn for too long, otherwise that Sprite Engine will really be putting the pain on you. I decided to grab a Serenir here in end phase. I think there's a good case to be made for Lubellion, but I just wanted, you know, another Bystial just in case. Turning Ash Blossom and Gishki Abyss into another elf. Real jump scare for like TCG and I believe also OCG players. This is at 3 in Master Duel. Will, you know, negate the elf with a Dissipator here. Pretty simple stuff, really. Discards a Vision for a Gishki Ritual spell, grabs a Gishki Necro Mirror, which apparently lets him tribute my monsters. That scared just like everything out of me when that happened. Puts a Neramanos on the board. Takes 3k here. Summons a Water from the graveyard again. I, you know, go for the Branded Beast here to, you know, get rid of the elf beforehand. I don't know if that's like on principle the most optimal play, but I decided to do it anyways. Because I'm, you know, not dealing with an Neramanos anyway. Decide to dump the Branded Regained here, which I am getting back in the end phase of a Branded Beast, which is very nice. Kind of setting up everything I would want to. He goes for a Vision, grabs another Aqua Mirror, and also activates that Aqua Mirror for a, you know, sending Neramanos for, you know, the known second Neramanos in hand. And if Neramanos is summoned, you can kindly enough revive a water monster, which, oh, is Neramanos a water monster? That's, you know, kind of interesting. Puts 2 big idiots on the board, goes to combat, punches over Magnamut, and hits me for a solid 3800. But I'm not feeling too bad in this situation. Branded Beast on board with a Regained in the grave is quite enough to get me back into this game. Mainly just need him to, you know, commit to a summon at this point. Which is why I set the Ash Blossom, you know, just in case, maybe there's a chance. Opponent draws for turn. And really does me a solid here. Normal summons a Gishki Grimness. Thank you very much for doing that. Dissipator hits the board again. Absolutely crazy, by the way, that you get to resummon Dissipator off of Branded Regained. Goes Centaurea punches over Ash, goes main 2, makes a Down-Up Magician, and I think everyone is knows where this is going. Because that is a Zeus. Which is a problem, because I do not really have an answer for that. I can, you know, I could try and Dissipator this, but he just goes Chain Zeus again. Decided to Branded Beast it instead of, you know, chaining the Zeus again. He just lets it go, I guess. And now we get into a kind of awkward stare off, which is why I'll probably hit the speed up button here real quick. Passes turn back to me. I draw for turn, find a cross out designator, who is, I guess, going to find a playable first. Opponent draws, simply sets a card, passes back to me. And my top deck, I think here looks very promising. It is Bystial Diabellstar. There he is. Going ahead, targeting the opponent's graveyard is going to net me a very quick scoop. Really cool game. Really cool game. But yeah, with that out of the way, I still have an 11-turn game against Gold Pride Punk that I think we'll get into next. And with that, we are getting into an absolute grind fest against Gold Pride Punk. We'll probably immediately hit the speed up button here, firing that Wanted in standby phase to grab a Diabellstar. Going main 1, specialing Ecclesia, putting Ecclesia in the grave for the Bystial Baldrake in my hand. Going to make a Baron de Fleur. This is kind of me tunneling into Omni-Negate good. This bot would have been a lot better if I just made Dissipator here. Dissipator brings back the Incredible Ecclesia. I can send the Incredible Ecclesia for the Diabellstar. Get, you know, Severa life and also turn Branded Beast life because I have the Dissipator on board. Which is something I noticed when, you know, reviewing this footage for the purposes of this video. But also something I did want to point out because, you know, acknowledging mistakes is important and kind of, you know, pointing out where, you know, some things would have been better if they were done in a different way. I decided to Severa, send the Diabellstar here to negate the better luck next time because I'd rather not see him get access to any of the gold prides, mainly, you know, a Captain Carry here that he normal summons and sets another back row. It's one of those Gold Pride Punk hands where you find all the traps and, like, none of the combo pieces. But that, you know, is still a lot of interaction. Dangerous Garbu is just an imperm, which is pretty nice. I decided to go Wanted here, put back Severa, draw into Bystial Diabellstar, which is crazy. Attempt to put a Magnemite on the board by banishing an Effect Vader from my graveyard, which gets hit with a Start Your Engines. Great piece of interaction, by the way. Popping a monster on summon, revealing 3 gold prides, and then putting one of those onto the board at random. Pinballer just kind of steals my entire board, returns itself to the extra in the end phase, puts Rollerballer on the board again, and I just pass with, you know, a couple cards in hand. On attack deck, I do decide on firing the Druid Worm here, and when the turn passes back to me, I want to, of course, go for Lubellion, trying to get, you know, that Branded Regained or Branded Regained life mainly, to, you know, get into grinding. Start Your Engines tries to hit the Diabell here, but as mentioned in the deck profile, this is why I got jump scared by the Severa trigger, something I probably would have missed in paper. I keep Caught By, and I do the absolute clown play of trying to Caught By a Rollerballer here, as if there wasn't a second one engraved. Normal summon Ghost Ogre, turns Rollerballer into Jam Dragon Drive, which grabs him a Z Armin. Crazy card here, because that's just like everything for the Punk line. Which is going to put him ahead on quite a couple cards. Amazing Dragon returning 2 cards from my field to the hand here. Z Armin giving that guy another 600 points of attack. And Amazing Dragon getting in for quite a bit of damage here. I do draw into another Wanted for another Diabell. I go Diabell, send Diabell, set another Sinful Spell Trap. Send the Diabell here for a Snake Eye mainly because I wanted to get that draw and hopefully finding a, you know, decently playable card. Put a Baldrake on the board, I can go for the Lubellion, and this is where I can finally put a Branded Regained on the board. To hopefully help me, you know, keep up the fight a bit longer, because that's mainly, you know, the main win con I have here. Him running out of his combo pieces, and me just kind of sitting here behind, like, guys, and just praying for it, I guess. Turns the Wagon and the Deer into an Adamant Pet Arisen Dragite, Z Armin as Sharakusai. And the Jam Extreme Session draws another card. Clears the entire board except Druid Worm. Probably doesn't want to lose the Amazing Dragon here. Overlaying for a Chariot Carrion main phase 2, grabbing another Battle Luck next time for a Gold Pride Leon, which luckily enough is, I believe, no, was live. I once again do the absolute clown thing of like called buying Gold Pride names, which why did I do this? I don't know. Bystial Diabellstar is a great top deck here because that grabs me the Bystial Lubo, which gives me access to Bystial Diabellstar and Druid Worm with a kindly dispatch of that Amazing Dragon. Diabellstar is able to set me the original Sinful Spoils again, and Dissipator Diabellstar beats over my opponent's entire board here. Hopefully, this is the last push, I guess. Banishes a Punk name to special another Punk name from hand. I do get the Magnemite back here off of Regain. Magnemite will add me another Dragon end phase, and that's where Psychic and Punisher hits the board. It's usually a card that can very, very, very quickly end games if played in Punk. But we're very equal on life points here, so it's not that big a deal. And with the Punch over, this also isn't a Towers anymore. It decides to apparently banish my Dissipator to, you know, kind of get that off the board. I don't know why, but he just does. Jam Dragon Drive hits the board again because I activate an effect in response to a Punk card. I can, you know, very, very easily hit that with a Severa here, sending the Diabell for the Wanted that I just recycled off of this Dissipator. Very cute interaction, I guess. A Magnemite grabbing me a Serenier, but with, you know, all these cards in hand and my opponent on 1,000 life points, this is just mainly a formality to game, putting a Credibility Ecclesia here on the board. For another Dissipator, resummoning the Ecclesia again, going into combat. Dissipator punches over Jam Dragon Drive and Diabellstar for game. As you've probably seen, this deck has a lot of capabilities to play very low to the ground. You can, you know, kind of grind games out on recurrable main deck idiots, mainly off of, you know, Branded Regained or, you know, just Diabell's natural recursion. And chill a bit, you know, and with a couple of hand traps thrown into the mix, you can definitely trip up your opponent. But I think we'll do the proper outro with the deck list in front of us. Well, as I've kind of alluded to, I do love me, value.deck. I do like grind games. I do like, decks that have like very good recurrable resource loops. And this kind of scratches that itch absolutely perfectly. As mentioned, you can very much easily grind out games on the basis of, a big idiot summon back. The Bystials are just like an incredibly good, conga line of idiots that just gets recurred each turn off of regained. And Diabell does a similar thing. And at a 2500 stat line, most of these aren't even small. And, for bigger threats, you do have the option to go into some very, very powerful extra deck pieces. But with all that out of the way, let me know your thoughts down below or what you think of this list. And maybe, in general, just like highlighting the decks that I maybe run on my off time on the Master Duel ladder a bit more. But yeah, with all that out of the way, I will thank you guys very much for watching, and I will be seeing you guys again next time. But until then, goodbye.